everyone. I'm Emily Crow, multimedia editor at Progressive Grocer. Welcome to Top Women in Grocery, a podcast focused on the topics, trends, and interests moving women forward in grocery retail. We're spotlighting extraordinary women in the grocery industry who have had successful careers and interesting lives, and who are also making positive impacts in their workplaces and in their communities. I'm here today with Sabrina Sierant, Senior Director of Chips Ahoy at Mondelez International. Sabrina, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. To start, tell us a bit about your career journey and how you landed in your current role with Chips Ahoy.
Yeah, of course. So, I've been in marketing my entire career. And I actually started out working at the Boston Beer Company on the Sam Adams brand, doing consumer promotions and managing their events, which was a ton of fun as a first job out of college, if you can imagine. But while I was there, I worked with the brand manager a lot. And I was actually in awe of, how the brand managers really worked on the brand strategy, the innovation, advertising, and had really this holistic view of the brand. And I realized, I wanted to be in brand management too. So I went back to school to get my MBA to help make that transition. And coming out of school, I worked at Hasbro for a year, which was also a ton of fun. I was on the innovation team working on launching new toy lines, which was great. And at the time, I had just gotten engaged, and my fiance is from New Jersey. So we decided to move back closer to family. And that was about 12 years ago when I moved to New Jersey and got the job with Mondelez. So I started out as an associate brand manager, actually on the Chips Ahoy brand. And since then have had the pleasure of working across a number of our great brands like Oreo, Swedish Fish, Halls, Sour Patch Kids, and have worked across, different roles within our marketing organization, from commercial marketing to innovation and brand equity. And I came back onto Chips Ahoy at the end of 2019 to lead our equity. So it's the brand strategy and the marketing and the comms. And it was actually a great time to come back onto the brand because Mondelez, it wasn't a focus brand for Mondelez at the time. And we hadn't been talking to our consumers in like 3 years. So I had the opportunity to establish all new brand foundations, develop a long-term growth strategy for the brand, and launch a new marketing campaign featuring a modernized version of our cookie mascot. And so I was in that role for about 2 years and then got promoted to my current role, which is leading Chips Ahoy, the total business for the US across equity, but also commercial and innovation. So
Very cool. Sounds like a big job.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Great. So Chips Ahoy has been around for more than 60 years. You've been there for a lot of it. In your position, how do you make sure the brand stays relevant to consumers? You mentioned the relaunch. How does that work?
Yeah. So I would say, three things. One is we stay connected to consumer trends. I know this seems obvious, but we have great insights and analytics partners that help us stay in touch with our consumers, what's important to them, whether it's value and affordability, which is really important these days, or indulgence or convenience and on the go snacking, or better for you snacking. So I think, staying in touch with consumers and then building the plans to address those consumer needs where it makes sense for the brand is probably the first thing. The second one is we also have a great team of agency partners that we work with that help us keep our pulse on consumer media behavior, to just make sure that, we're reaching consumers where they are. And we're investing in the right places that gives us the right return. So if we're targeting a Gen Z audience, we're where they are at, and maybe less on like linear TV where they're not. And then lastly, I would say, over the past 5 years, first I'll say is that, we know modernity is a driver of brand health. especially for our Gen Z audience. So over the last 5 years, we've looked to partner with other brands and talent that are culturally relevant, that also fit with our brand and can help amplify, an existing initiative in an authentic way. So I'll give you a couple examples. First, Kiss is a really culturally relevant brand. We did a collab with them about a year and a half ago with their Kiss treats, where we made these delicious ice cream sandwiches and with our cookies and launched limited Kiss Ahoy merch. We partnered with Kiki Palmer last year, who's a fabulous actress, singer, TV personality, to help announce our improved recipe on our crunchy cookies last year. And then most recently, we partnered with hip hop artist Big Sean to launch our Big Chewy cookies at Complex Con in Las Vegas last November. So I think, the combination of keeping up with consumer trends, reaching them where they are, and then, partnering with other, brands that are relevant for your audience is what has helped us.
And tell us about some of the innovative products over the past few years that have led to the brand's growth. I know there's been growth in household penetration, and for a company that's been around for so long, I would love to hear about, the ways you've been innovating.
Definitely. So I think, Chips Ahoy, we've established an ambition to be the go-to chocolate chip sweet treat. And with that, we've stepped up our innovations over the past 12 months to really push into growing segments in and beyond cookies. So the first one, which was actually a year ago now, it was last May, was we launched our crunchy gluten-free Chips Ahoy cookies. We were seeing that 20% of households are actually buying gluten-free cookies and crackers. But and gluten-free snacking continues to grow, but there is no mainstream chocolate chip cookie on the market for these consumers. So we decided to launch our gluten-free version of our original that delivers this, delicious taste that those consumers want also. They want delicious tasting cookies, but without the gluten. So we're giving them a chance to, enjoy cookies that they previously couldn't have. And that one's actually seen a ton of success. It has a 48% repeat rate with
Wow.
buyers. So they're coming back. So it tastes great. Honestly, like we did a blind taste test, I could not even tell you it was gluten free.
That's amazing.
I would say our second one that we've seen growth from, I mentioned in the last answer, but it's our Big Chewy Chips Ahoy cookies that launched late last year. They're 3 times larger than our regular Chewy, and they're indulgent, they're satiating, and they're in an individually wrapped package, which is like perfect for on the go snacking and also splitting if you're like me and you buy one and your husband wants half of it. But I think that those, we've been able to grow in this segment on the go snacking that is also growing faster than at home snacking. So that has helped with our household penetration. The third one is we also launched a new pack type. So of our original and our chewy cookies. So the pack type's called Fresh Stacks. And it delivers freshness, but also portability and it's at an affordable price point. So the SRP is under $3. As we know, like some consumers are looking for that low absolute price point. And it's doing well. It's driving household penetration by bringing lapsed consumers back. And so really happy with that launch. And then the last one, we actually just launched our Chips Ahoy Baked Bites platform with a blondie flavor this last January. So it's this soft baked square treat with a texture inspired by a brownie, except it's a blondie, so it's not brown, and with delicious chocolate chips. And it comes in this portion pack that you could also take on the go. So really excited to launch that a little bit beyond cookies. It's our first entry into cakes and pastries, and really tapping into a new occasion and bringing in some new households.
Yeah, that's such a big segment right now. That's exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
So, when we talk about innovative products and innovation for your consumers, what information, statistics, or analyses do you use to inform the new products?
Typically, we'll look at Nielsen data or other consumer trend data to identify like what are the potential areas for growth, right? Whether it's on the go snacking or something else. What are those growth areas? And then from there, we'll develop and test a variety of concepts to see, within those areas, which are the concepts that are driving the highest purchase intent, that fit with the brand and that are also driving incremental sales. So not stealing, as much from our current portfolio. And so we'll look at a combination of those to decide which ones we move forward. And then, of course, we'll partner with our research and development team to bring those concepts into cookies and to develop the recipes and then have consumers taste them to tell us, which of these products they deliver on the concepts, one, but then also that they like, right? So we're looking at, concept fit and overall liking. And of course, it's an iterative process, as you can imagine, to try to get to what's the best possible concept and the best possible cookie that our consumers love.
Wonderful. Well, shifting gears, we love talking about mentorship and volunteerism here on the podcast. Have you been involved with volunteerism throughout your career?
For mentorship, so I currently mentor three women that used to be on my team. And, but since then, they've been promoted and moved to a different team within Mondelez. And, I think it's incredibly rewarding to not just, help coach and grow someone when they're on your team, but then to continue that relationship because like I already know they're superstars. Like they've been on my team. And now I get joy and I meet with them monthly and just, talk about whatever they'd like. I give them that space. So I give them advice, on navigating their career or navigating and giving them advice for an upcoming leadership meeting that I won't be a part of, but I'll give them my perspective. And so I love just watching them continue to grow and develop. And I advocate for them in, our talent conversations as well, which is great because, we have talent conversations. And even though I'm not their direct manager, I can also speak up and advocate on their behalf. Um, and then for volunteerism, I'm a working mom. I have two kids, and most of my efforts for volunteering are in my community for my kids' school. So I try to volunteer for lunch duty or field trips when I can. And I actually just finished volunteering for my daughter's Jubilee. So, which is like this performance they put on that's a fundraiser. Myself and four other moms taught a group of 21 second graders a choreographed dance over the last 3 months. So was taking the time to do that, but really, helping stay connected to, my kids and my community is what's important right now.
Wonderful. Sabrina, thank you so much for your insights and for being here with us today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
For more information about the Top Women in Grocery podcast, please visit www.progressivegrocer.com/podcasts. You can also subscribe to this series wherever you typically listen to podcasts, including on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Finally, if you have an idea for a Twig podcast topic, I would love to hear from you. Send me an email at ecrow@ensembleiq.com. See you next time, and thanks so much for listening.